Hey everyone, so I've gotten a lot of questions on stream and off stream about equilibrium farming for specifically tier 5s. Now, you can get tier 5s guaranteed from this dungeon by simply doing every single feat except for Cutthroat, which is actually a very, very easy farm. And today I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how to speed up your farms. This farm assumes that you don't know any of the skips, because the skips, there's like Storm's Edge breaching and stuff that's been found for speedrunning. This actually assumes that you have no skips whatsoever. We were farming 14s, 15s, maybe if we wiped, we'd get like a 17 or an 18. But for the most part, pretty fast farms, and you're getting 6 drops per run because the secret chests are refreshable in this dungeon. So you can farm it over and over, get the secret chest every single run, and the secret chest behaves like kind of like an encounter drop for the purpose of focusing. So you will get focus drops. So if you finish the equilibrium quest, and let's say you focus like the sniper, you have a very, very high chance of getting the sniper from a secret chest, and it will be tier 5. So 6 drops per run, plenty of Dawning Essence, Dawning Spirit as well if you have the ship on, Ascendant Shards galore, and I basically had like 450k Glimmer after every single farming session. So pretty nice farm, honestly. And I haven't said this in a long time, but I'm actually enjoying doing this activity over and over with friends, which is not something I've really said about any D2 activity in the past like 2 years. So I've had a really, really great time with this dungeon. And today I'm just going to be giving you some tips and tricks, regardless of what class you have, regardless of whether or not you know skips. We were getting, again, like 14s, 15s, no skips or anything like that. So I actually have 3 different clips here because originally I was just going to clip our fastest run, which is this part 3 video here. Unfortunately, the first half of that video is all corrupted because of Shadowplay/NVIDIA replay. So I got some clips from other parts of the run, from like different runs afterward. Let's go ahead and take a look. Start with entrance here. So entrance, yeah, nice to have mounted top on. You can just sword forward and do what I just did there on pretty much any class. Dive down here over here and, track to some dogs. In the beginning here, since I'm a hunter and I can like skate and stuff, I'm a little bit faster than my teammates. I just swapped to Lucky Pants and the hand cannon. Lovely Uncivil Discourse here. Yeah, it just absolutely nukes those behemoths. Pretty nice. My roll is pretty bad as well, and if you have a better roll, it's a bit more forgiving if you miss some crits. And yeah, so my teammates, they're just gonna, if someone needs to change their, attunement during a run, it's like, you just wait here a little bit and, wait for your teammates to do the attunement. So we were farming for armor. So, someone maybe got like a god roll helmet or something and they changed to like a class item or something like that. So that's pretty chill, right? You can just do that at the start of every run. You can also do it after first encounter as well, from what I've been told. So that's cool. At the very start here, if you kill the ads instantly that come out of the doors, it will spawn the red guys from the drop pods right away. So just try and kill them right away with like Choir Hipfire. You can kill them with Contra. You can kill them with Lightning Surge. You can kill them with Consecration. There's a bunch of stuff you can kill them with. But just kill them quickly, because otherwise they TP up top, and then it can slow down the red guys spawning in. So you'll notice, boom, as soon as I kill those guys, drop pods land. And then here, important thing with these Nameless Apprentices, in general, just baiting their attacks, meleeing helps a lot. I see a lot of people just go near them and kind of just, walk around, spin them in circles and stuff, and they're wondering why it's not working. You should melee them. So when they first spawn in, they're not going to do their animation a little bit. But just meleeing them makes them very, very likely to do their, take an attack. Now, it's not a guarantee, of course, but, it is very, very helpful. You're doing all that you can if you are meleeing them. And then here, I like to take this top route. So I'm the taken kind of buff guy. And my other 2 teammates right now, they're killing the Drainbanes on the outside of the map right now if they can, because those are kind of annoying during the actual main mechanics of this encounter. And then here, just the taken pools, if you're doing the ride around on the pike or whatever this is called, just know that every single taken pool has 2 possible spawning locations, and it's kind of a 50-50 every single run where they're going to be. So just be aware, like this one can be bottom left or bottom right. So just be, keeping your eyes peeled. They're generally on the same like kind of level, I guess, horizontally when you approach them. So like this one can be here or it can be on the left, right? So just pay attention always. If you don't see one in like your usual spot, always check the other side. And then this one can either be here or kind of deep on the left here. So just be aware, there's always an alternate spawn location for these taken pools. And then here I come out of bottom left. So the way these work is that there's 6 total red guys. And actually, a fun fact for you guys, I'll show you at the end of the encounter, is there's these like 6 sirens or 6 kind of, these kind of 6 lights that are underneath the harvester. And they disappear one by one as you kill the red guys, which is kind of cool. I didn't notice that. I don't know if anybody has found that, but we noticed that during farms that, they were disappearing. So that's kind of cool. So the way that these work is there's 3, right? There's 3 red guys at the start, bottom left, bottom right, and top. And once you, I believe, unshield and kill one of them, and the second drop pod wave happens, then the remaining 3 spawn, right? And the remaining 3, the way that they spawn is the side that you unshield second, that's where your guy is going to spawn on bottom, and then 2 more spawn up top, okay? So how this works is generally I come out of bottom left because I like that route. I bait this guy, and then I go bottom right, and then my teammate right now is killing bottom left. So there's a drop pod location here, and drop pod radius is a lot bigger than you think it is. So just be careful. If you're on a vehicle, the vehicle acts like insurance, like it will survive. It will protect you from one drop pod. But if you're doing this role, you kind of need to be careful, right? So here I'm kind of just waiting. Boom, I unshield him. And then you'll notice in this drop pod, there's going to be another red guy because my teammate just spawned this second wave of behemoths. And with the second wave of behemoths comes... Or not the second wave of behemoths, rather the first wave of behemoths, I suppose. Yeah, I just unshield this guy, and now all the bottoms are done, right? So 3 bottom, all done, and now there's going to be 3 tops, okay? So I'm going to go top here. This guy, there was just a drop pod, so I'm not super worried about getting crushed here. And then here, if you're actually fast enough and the behemoths are like well-behaved and the red guys are well-behaved, the nameless guys, you can actually complete all 6 of the unshieldings with 1 buff. But for the purpose of farming, if you just want to aim for consistency, you should go for a rebuff. So I go for a rebuff bottom left. Might have been smarter to go bottom right just in case, you know, the pool is about to despawn there, obviously. And then here, I just keep myself alive with combination blow. Honestly, I made only like 4 or so loadouts for this dungeon. If I were to go again and make loadouts once more, I would probably run a different loadout like Hoyle Cert or something for this running phase, because running around and doing this role in particular is kind of dangerous because you have to go within melee range and you're like near where all the drop pods are all the time, and there's drain banes. And if your teammates are not like, you know, killing all the drain banes and stuff like that, it can definitely be a bit risky. So once you unshield all 6 and then the 6th red guy dies, the 6th nameless guy dies, on top of the behemoths that are already spawned in, you're going to get 3 yellow bar behemoths, which have about double the health, I think, of a normal behemoth, because I was doing about half of the yellow bar behemoth's health with a grapple melee, and I was one-shotting the red bar behemoths. So right now my teammate is killing final, and you'll see that there was an extra wave of drop pods, and that's the yellow bar behemoth that I was talking about. So here, 1 grapple melee does about half his health, and then I use Hoyle and Syntho here to get my grapple back, and then we do 1 more grapple melee right here, and he's dead. Right, so 2 shots him. And then build loadouts recommendations for this dungeon and for this encounter in particular. Warlock Contra is insane. Contra can one-shot the yellow bars if you get a big chunk. And then on Hunter, I think grapple melee with Hoyle Syntho or like Hoyle Cert is good. And then on Titan, you can probably just run Bonk. You can probably just run Worm God Hammer. And that's kind of going to be the recurring theme for the rest of this dungeon. So that's kind of just how it goes. And then here, I'll show you what I was talking about. You see these little like lights here? So let me kind of draw on the screen here. You see this? These are the ones that I was talking about. There's 6 of them, and they turn off as you kill the red guys. So pretty cool. The first 2 people to enter the harvester, I believe, can enter immediately, and then the third person might have to like enter from like an alternate entrance or something like that. So yeah, it's a bit weird. And then once you're on the harvester, it's pretty chill. And now let's go to part 2. So part 2, gonna go ahead and skip the cutscene here. And yeah. So for this section, yeah, make sure you sword a little bit to the right here, or else you're going to hit your head on that beam. I know some of my teammates were doing that for sure. So before you mount a top straight up, just like sword a little bit to the right, or sword diagonally to the right. And then here, I mean, this is kind of just doing transition. I guess I can give you a few tips on transition here, I suppose. I don't know. I guess just try not to track too much to ads, but it is not that crazy. Honestly, the transitions are, they're not like super fun, but they're not like super boring either. I don't really mind doing them. Mount atop the ceiling there. Okay. And then here, you know, just break the 3 fuses. Pretty chill. And then here, I like skate across early. Just make sure you like sword to stop yourself because there's drain veins, obviously. And then here, 1 person can go left. And this top fuse is always lovely. Broke pretty fast there. Get the secret chest up here. Tier 5 every single time, remember. And then, you know, be careful with the explosion here. Pretty chill. So yeah, there are res tokens on the transition, but it's not really like a big concern. Just there are certain points where like, unless you're good at mountaintop jumping and stuff, just be careful to not go too far ahead. Because, for example, like the plate area in the transition, I think after Harrow, we'll get there and talk about it. But if someone dies before that area and everybody's already passed, it's very hard to go back up, if not impossible. So yeah, here I stored the flag backward for my teammates. Shooting this fuse does not start the encounter, so you can shoot it early. Just I just wait here so I don't accidentally drop one of my teammates into the hole. And then here, you know, just go do this guy for fun. Sitting here. Okay, so Harrow challenge is like the most annoying of the 3 challenges. The big thing with Harrow is that you want to stick to a decision. Either like full commit and bait him with the person who has Decree on the first cycle, or just the second you get Decree, just run away. Okay? But the main thing is, just in case he does end up trying to blow up on you, you need to get 2 Scions ASAP. And 2 Scions ASAP is like pretty much guaranteed. So the way that we do it in farms is that there's 2 top doors here, top left and top right, which are on the edges of like the horseshoe, right? On each end of the horseshoe. So it kind of makes sense to have everyone gather on one side, because then everybody can get tier 2 of the buff. So first tier, there's almost always a Scion that walks through the door. If the door opens late, the Scion might run down the hallway, but there's always a Scion that spawns like out of one of those doors, top left or top right. So you do that. And then 1 combination blow stack plus biotic, and then grapple melee will one-shot this guy, Contra one-shots this guy. I'm sure Titan wouldn't have any trouble killing this guy, but kill this guy pretty fast, because if the boss chases you in here right away, he can blow up like right about now. So just be ready for that. I don't have Decree here. Whoever has Decree, this room in particular is pretty bad, because the boss can do this thing where instead of doing his animation, if he reaches this point in the room, he can jump up, jump down, and then he'll do his blow up animation, but he'll also disappear at the same time because he's kind of timed out. He spent too much time in the room. So if he does that, he will teleport to a different room and just blow up, and then you'll fail challenge and wipe. So this room, the key is either get buff and just run, or whoever has Decree should stand like around here and try to bait the boss. The boss can also go here and here, which is totally fine. But if he does this jumping stuff, you're probably going to fail challenge. So either just run away or just bait him like early before he gets the chance to jump, which should be fairly straightforward, right? It should be fairly easy. So just make sure you're fast into your rooms. And then after that, you know, as long as you encounter a Scion somewhere in one of these hallways, it's fine. I would say the person who does close room should probably steal the buff from middle room. Because usually there's an extra hallway Scion, and then you have tier 3 of the buff. And then, you know, that way everybody has tier 4 of the buff, right? So I steal this because I intend on doing, I think, close room. And then I look for another Scion, which usually there's one like kind of in this hallway, in this area, yeah. And then we go back to our room. I typically don't do this room, I think. So it's kind of like mixed up on where the thingies were. But yeah, we're good there. Looks good. Also, I don't know. I'm like 90% sure Hoyle increases the rate at which you get this shadow touch ability, which is kind of cool, I guess. Could be placebo though. Could be placebo. Didn't actually like measure it, but it seems to come back pretty fast if you have empowered abilities. So here, you know, whoever's Harrow, just like go up to him, bait him, bring him into one of the holes. You can also do this thing. I've seen this in solos where like he has this thing where he can like jump over the hole. So if you stand right at the corner of the hole, you can like bump him backward like that into the hole so that he doesn't like fully clear the hole, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I felt like my shadow touch kind of came back fast there, but I don't know. Could be placebo. So at this point, like my teammates are capable of doing the rest of the shield by themselves, right? So I'm just getting ready for damage. I'm doing grapple melee, of course. And then for this boss, I would say for both bosses, really, with the 1-2 punch changes and like how it's additive and stuff, if you have biotic and combination blow ×3, you should just go for grapple melees because it's faster and way more consistent in terms of like not having to turn your camera as much and the boss not moving as much. And, you know, especially on Sere, for example, like the stomps can be annoying if your teammates are not like baiting laser ahead of time. So that is something to be aware of. And then here, if the boss falls off the map, which he did here, he will teleport. So I unfortunately ran out of my Goldie because if he does this and I don't know, he just like comes out of a random door. So you'll see here, he just like comes out of top right door and I run out of my Goldie. But normally we just do like one Contra chunk. A good Contra chunk is enough to one-shot his whole health bar for final. But I also have a Goldie. And then, you know, if I headshot my Goldie with the weaken here, it's like does almost all of his health. And then my teammates finish him off. But regardless, final is pretty chill. Doesn't really matter. And then something important to note here is that if you have any sort of shadow buff, there's a pool that spawns like as the encounter ends. If you have any sort of shadow buff, it will not give you the full bar. So just try to avoid picking up any shadow pools or having shadow buff before the end of the encounter. And you'll see here, I like pre-stand on where I know the pool is going to be. And I don't know, this time it kind of bugged and it gave me like a third. Normally it fills you up completely instantly as soon as you like stand on that. So That's kind of annoying, but I'll show you. Maybe I have a clip from the part 3 clip. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So hopefully this one, yeah. So I got full buff there. This is like the clip that I just showed you is like kind of abnormal. So yeah, normally you get full buff. And then I think I get both here because my teammate was Transcendent. So they were not able to help me with the right side, which is fine. And then here, I kind of line up with like the right side of this thingy. I just kind of line there. And then you can see like, you see these lights, right? They kind of tell you where you need to land because you can actually land on these platforms ahead of time. Like all the assets are, I mean, this is already like preloaded, so you can kind of use it as a visual cue, but the floor is already here. So there's no danger in doing this as long as you like know where you're supposed to land, right? So I think these right here, these two lights, those are where I need to land. And so yeah, right there you go. And then you can also like shatter dive if you want. Okay. So let's take a look at this 2-3 transition. Going to head in here. So yeah, this is pretty chill. I do another like Lucky Pants swap once we get to the behemoths, which you'll see in a second. But obviously on Warlock, you could just contra nuke this guy. On Titan, I don't know, you could do something. Do something to this guy. Izzy him maybe. Yeah. So pretty straightforward. And if you're on Hunter, or for some reason you have a well, you can go up here. You can also use grapple to bypass this section. I just like line as soon as I see the spike come out. And I land on here. So yeah. Honestly, this dungeon, you can farm it on pretty much any class comp that you want. I mean, maybe 3 Titan would be kind of bad, but you know, that's also probably doable as well. Okay. So pretty straightforward. This section right here is the one where it's kind of like the point of no return. Like once you drop down here, I like the sword block here to block this guy's stop. Mantle by accident. Yeah, once you kind of slide under here, you kind of can't go back up really easily without like maybe making a crystal or something to slide under that gap. So just be careful here. If someone dies before this point, it's kind of annoying. They might have to leave rejoin. I haven't really tried going back up, but I would assume that because it's a slide gap, you can't really like go back up unless you have like a crystal or something set up. So just be aware of that. Generally, pretty easy to bypass those ads though. And then that secret chest, again, you can get that literally every single run and it will drop a tier 5. And then here, I monitor the door. I just, you know, I'm usually here first, so I just kind of grab the buff. And then by this time, obviously, the close guys are spawned as well. So I go for them. 1, 2. And then here. Here, you can just make this using raw jumps, I think, on any class, maybe besides Titan. Then you just mount a top up. Sword over here. Don't do that. And then hit the switch, and then your teammates are good. And then just chill on the corner, inner corner there. Nice and easy. Also, another thing this dungeon will teach you, something that I guess like speedrunners know, is that if you have a lot of momentum or you just like sword swiped and then you try to shoot a grate, it just won't work. So just be aware of that. That's like a thing that happens in this game. So you'll notice a lot of the time, like for example, right there, I just sword swiped and then I tried to acquire the grate. And even though I obviously hit it dead on, it didn't break. So that's like something to be aware of, I guess, if that's happening to you. That's like a property in this game. I don't know why. Okay, so now we're going to look at Final Boss. Final Boss, there is some specific stuff you should know to make your farms a little bit more consistent. These guys, you can kill them with really whatever. I think my teammate like Nova bombed them or something. I'm just, you know, using the Lucky Pants transition loadout again. And then here, you know, we just make our way to the flag circle. And yeah. So, I mean, on Hunter, I mean, I pretty much just use the same loadouts for everything, right? I have 2 transition loadouts, one with Lucky Pants for mini bosses. I have grapple melee stuff on, right? I have a mechanics grapple melee for Hoyle Synthos, so I can just naturally regen my grapple fast and get stacks. And then I have one with high grenade and high melee with renewal Syntho for damage. And then my 5th loadout is just Nighthawk for Harrow Final, which makes that like a little bit more consistent. And then Warlock, you could just run Contra for the entire dungeon. And then Titan, you could probably just run Wormgod for the entire dungeon if you wanted. Here, there's obviously 2 Incendiars that spawn in the start of every wave, so just grab those 2. And there's 2 more with the dog wave. Now, important thing here is that there's 2 dogs that spawn out of both these bottom doors. Killing all 4 of them will instantly spawn a red guy. So, you know, if you want to be able to consistently get all 5 before you go in every single time here, it is super, super easy as long as you're killing the red guys. So my teammate is just on Izzy Kinetic Synthesis, and they're just like one-shotting this red guy every time we unshield him, which is pretty chill. And then we just wait for the dogs here. You could just split it up, really, right? You could do one person do left dogs, one person does right dogs, one person shoots balls. I'm shooting balls, and I'm occasionally helping with, I'm doing hands as well sometimes. You know, we're just having a good time, splitting up the roles, pretty chill. You know, I shoot the ball here. You don't even have to shoot the ball every time, to be honest, if your team is fast. You can kind of just shoot every, like, 2, you know? Every 2 sets. So here I'm just kind of pre-stacking combination blow for when we go in. My teammate is Izzying, boom. Pretty chill, again. It's funny they gave the Rage Bane to the dogs, and the dogs still die in like 1 choir headshot. It's kind of funny. Teammate's getting blasted here. Okay. So on the 4th ball, because of challenge, you want to leave 1 ball up for when you get TP'd back, because if you don't leave 1 ball up and you get TP'd back, damage time is like a little bit shortened, and it's like you might not be ready, right? So just for farming consistency's sake, we leave 1 ball up, and then you have 15 seconds when you get back to like do any sort of setup that you need to do. Okay. So this guy, he's number 5. We actually have time to do 6 here. And the reason why we do 6 is because we unshield the 6th so that when I come back, I can kill him, and then we don't have a red guy bothering us during damage, right? So that can help a lot as well. So here at this point, we kill the dogs, and you see this guy, we're going to bait him, and we're just going to unshield him. We're not going to kill him. Okay. So now I'm just kind of getting some combination blow stacks and whatever. I think my teammate might have accidentally killed the red guy. That's fine. It's just kind of a convenience thing, to be honest, so it doesn't matter too much. And then here, I do 2 abilities to get my grapple back. I believe my teammate already killed top. Yeah, normally what I do here is my teammate can't kill top with Izzy. I mount a top and grapple up, and then I just grapple melee it, one-shot it, and then I Goldie from up there to see if there's any tops. So what I do is, like, my teammates, they both go bottom, and they kind of, like, wrap around the map. So, like, let's say, like, we spawn in facing this way, and this is the tablet, and this is the circle, right? My teammates, they go like backward, and then they wrap around this way, and they look with Izzy to see if they can kill any of them. And then me, I mount a top, grapple up, I kill, and then I look out this way to see if there's any up tier. But my teammate already killed top, so now I'm just going to be helping by golding this guy. And I'm looking for the 3rd, but I think my teammate kills him. We're good. And then so now I just need to get some stacks before I leave. So I got 1 stack, I refreshed, and now I'm sending us out. And now there's 1 ball left on the inside. And obviously, after you kill the very middle wizard, make sure you obviously shoot a blight, because otherwise you're going to fail challenge. Challenge here is you need to shoot a ball, a blight, within 15 seconds of entering a new realm. And so, yeah, it's pretty straightforward to do that. Here, I just need to get my stack, and then I'm going to start damage for my teammates. So as long as I get this within 15 seconds, it's fine. We wait for her to laser here, by the way. Pretty important. Make sure the person closest to her is the person that you're fine with, like, baiting the laser, so that, you know, your damage people don't get cooked during damage. So Cookie here is running Song of Flame. We have her stand the closest to the boss. Try not to bait stomps, though, because it's going to stop him from lasering. And the second he starts lasering her, I start damage. And that way, he doesn't stomp as much during damage, right? He's just lasering 1 person. And me and Moogle here, who are on Contra and Grapple, or Grapple and Contra respectively, we just kind of, you know, kill the boss. And that's it. Yeah, pretty chill. Pretty chill. And like I said, you know, you can farm 14s, 15s if you're with no skips. If your team is, you know, locked in, and, you know, shout out to my friends for helping me farm and get some of this footage. And, you know, happy farming armor and stuff like that for you guys. You know, this is honestly pretty fun. Pretty fun. I would recommend it. And 4 feet with like 5 feet score, guaranteed tier 5s. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. I can't lie. So, yeah, enjoy. I hope you guys like this guide. And I'll see you around. We'll make tier list updates and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys hopefully enjoyed the Equilibrium meta update. There's going to be more stuff like that in the future. And maybe I'll talk about some of the dawning weapons and stuff like that in tier list updates. So enjoy farming if this is of interest to you. And I'll see you guys around.